sir. How are you? I'm still getting a countdown, so you're ahead of the clock. Three, two, one.
I'm so excited.
3, 2, 1. I know. 3, 2, 1. Let's have some fun. We are in the right place. Yes. Welcome everyone to the Coach's Corner. We're so excited that you are here. We are going to have such a phenomenal time tonight. I'm going to tell you right now that it would be wise for you to get something to write with, because you're going to learn some interesting facts. You're going to learn some things that you can actually take away and apply to your life immediately. We want you stronger and smarter and wiser when you hang out with us, because if we're just talking to you and you don't apply, all we're doing is entertaining you. And that is not why we're here. We want to educate you and inform you. So for those of you who this might be your first time, this is Coach Kim. My name is Coach Kim. I'm a wellness coach with ShopFreeMart in the Baltimore, Maryland area. And my good buddy, take it away, Coach Pate.
Coach Pate here in Chicago. And I'm a fitness and wellness consultant here at Chicago with ShopFreeMart. And I am excited and pumped. And so if I act a little nervous, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right, because we've had people here before at the Coach's Corner, but we've had we have men and women, but we never had the man before.
Yes.
We don't have this a man, we have the man.
Yes.
And the gentleman that you see sitting on the screen with us is no other. I got to go ahead and say it, Coach Kim. I know you wanted to say it.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead. It's all good.
One and only, the not a myth, but the legend, Mr. Rebounder himself, Dave Hall, for CEO and inventor of Cellercise.
I can't whistle. I would whistle if I could. I can't whistle. Whistle.
I'm truly humbled. I really am. You guys
we are thrilled that you're here. And Dave, I just want to tell you, I can see the screen and you may not be able to on Facebook, but I want you to know that people are coming into the show saying, welcome, Dave. Hey, Dave, great to meet you. Welcome, Dave. So they're excited to meet you. Dave Hall is, this has just been a wonderful journey for us over the last, I would say, actually 4 to 5 months now. There's just something that was planted in our spirit that what Dave Hall was doing at the Cellercise company and what ShopFreeMart was doing, it's almost like two spheres that were just, going just in such a hard pace and an impassioned pace that God just so ordained it that one spark lit off the other and they just came into, concentric, rhythm. And now here we are rolling together, moving together, like a symphony. And we're just so excited because it's literally like one brain, one mind, one heart being out to reach people and impact their health, their absolute health. We talk about health all of the time, and we talk about big dreams and where we're going. And people, they want the yachts and the cruises and the, flying hither and yon. But guess what? If you don't have your health, none of that matters. None of that matters. You will be laying up in a bed looking at pictures, looking at magazines, looking at travel shows on the television because you don't have the energy and the wherewithal and the functionality to actually live the life. So we are excited tonight because we're going to specifically talk about the Cellerciser and how that can help you recreate your life, reinvent your life. And I like to say it, get your mojo back. We're going to help you get your mojo back. So, I told Coach Pate, we were so excited. I've said this already. We were so excited. And I said, Coach Pate, you know what? We're going to limit ourselves to 2 questions apiece because we literally, Dave, we probably have about 20 questions apiece, but we said we're going to limit ourselves to 2 questions apiece. And even most importantly, we want the audience, the viewers, we want you guys to chime in. This is the time to ask your questions. And as I see them, I will, speak them to Dave and he can answer your question. Hey, Dave, Coach Pate, would you mind getting people on the page of the Facebook Live? That would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as what we would like to do to make sure we maximize this, not just for the coach's corner for us, but for you to maximize your benefits of having Dave here and an opportunity to get as many people that you know in front of this gentleman so that you can hear his story, hear it from the horse's mouth, as they say. We're going to all go and do a Facebook Live watch party. So if you don't see it under on your screen, you should. If you hit like, you should already came on and hit like. So once you hit like, it should come up a watch party. And one way you can do it on your page, or if you have a specific group that you want to start a watch party at, so that the people in that organization, that group, can get the notification that they're live and you're watching this. Because what's going to happen as they get through and they hear what they're going to hear about today, they're going to be wanting to get in touch with you. So you want them to know that you are a part of ShopFreeMart and now a part of Cellercise. So, so go on and everybody start that watch party, and then we'll give you a couple of seconds or so to get that going, because we're about to get started, Coach Kim.
Absolutely. We stay started. We don't get started. We're already always in motion. So,
All right.
It probably would be a good idea, because I don't want to take things for granted. We have Cellercise in our DNA now, right? We know what it is. I know how many springs are on. No, actually I don't. but there are some people who are tuning in and they don't even know what a Cellercise is. What is this thing? What does it mean to, work instead of working out, to play in? So that being said, I'm going to just, turn it over to Dave and ask him to give us a little bit of a kind of a backdrop, if you would, Dave. How did the Cellercise company, the Cellerciser concept, even come into being?
You bet. Okay. I've been doing this for over 30 years. Been working with doctors and health practitioners and trainers and sports therapists and men, women, children, celebrities, people of all ages. And it has continued to amaze me what Cellercise can do. We had a gentleman just called the other day. We were talking about him who said, David, I woke up this morning feeling so good and I had to call and tell you thank you. And I said, what for? And he said, well, 20 years ago, you introduced me to Cellercise and it completely changed my life. I've watched my peers pass on, a lot of them with drugs, medications, and poor quality of health. I woke up and I feel great, and I know it's because of that Cellerciser. And I said, well, thank you for sharing that with me. And then he says something really remarkable. He says, 20 years ago, when I began Cellercising, I was in my 70s.
Wow.
In his 90s now, and he's still enjoying a great quality of life.
Wow.
My uncle's in his upper 80s. He's still enjoying it. He's been doing it 20 years. I've been doing it 30 years, over 30 years now. And I'm 63, but I'm running around feeling like I'm in my 20s and 30s. I haven't slowed down. I probably did, but I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm out there enjoying a great quality of life, and I want everybody to do that. We all have a greater health potential. And you said it earlier, when we have our health, we can pursue our wealth and we can enjoy it. But when we lose our health, we'll expense our wealth, trying to get our health back again.
Yes.
And I don't want people to be in that position. We have a greater health potential. And if I were to draw a line down the middle of a page, and I say on the right-hand side of the line we have health, and on the left-hand side of the line we have illness. Most people in our society today have come to accept the idea of health as simply an absence of illness. They live on the line. As long as there's nothing wrong, they're okay and they're satisfied with that. Some people are crossed to the left of the line a little bit, and they take a shot, a pill, or some kind of treatment to get back as close to the line as they can. Some people are chronically ill. They're trying to get as close to the line as they can. But most people live on the line. Now, there's a few who live to the right of the line. And those are the ones who enjoy a better quality of life. They have more energy. They feel better. They perform better. If they do get sick, they bounce back faster. And those are the people we want to help create, because physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we're going to feel better. We're going to perform better. What Cellercise did, which is going to revolutionize exercise. In fact, years ago, when I was doing my business plan, they said, David, who's your target audience? And I said, people. And they laughed at me. And they said, no, you need to narrow your audience. To which I replied, no, you need to broaden yours. If you had
Yeah.
any idea what the Cellercise does just to the blood chemistry of people, when we wake up in the morning, with most people, the blood cells are sticky. They're not circulating very well. It's harder for the heart to pump sticky blood cells through the capillaries. So capillaries over time can shrink and body functions become weaker, and we begin to develop these symptoms of weakness or illnesses. And when we get on a Cellerciser, and we're going to talk about it in a moment, when we get on the Cellerciser for just 3 to 5 minutes, and we've done this, we've looked at blood cells under the microscope and microscopy. When we're on it for 3 to 5 minutes, the blood cells are weightless over 100 times a minute because we're gently bouncing up and down. And at the top of the bounce, we're weightless. And then as we come down, we have G forces working on the body, not just gravity, G forces. And as those cells expand and contract, they have a sodium-potassium pump. They're positively and negatively charged like a battery. So they generate a field of energy around themselves that separate them from each other. And we've done Carillion photography where we can see those blood cells after we've Cellercised, and they've generated that field of energy. Now it's easier for the heart to pump those separated blood cells as we're bouncing up and down, making it easier on the heart. Through the one-way valves, we feed that oxygen blood flow back to the brain, as well as other body parts and functions. How important is that? Well, what Cellercise does, it's not weightlifting. We're the only species in the world that's bought into the current methodology of exercise. I'm not trying to put anything down. I'm just saying that you'll never see a dog, cat, monkey, or any other species of animal out there pumping iron weights or doing some of the insane programs you see on TV. And yet they're very healthy, they're strong, they're flexible, they're quick, they enjoy good quality of life. We tear down to build up. When we tear down to build up, if we're doing weightlifting, for example, they tell you to do it every other day because the body literally has to heal itself.
Right.
As you tear a cell membrane or tissue, the cell patches a tear with more proteins. Then we tear the tear, and it has to patch the patch, and so on and so forth. And so we build these bigger muscles, but the muscles are not healthy muscles. And in fact, if we take it to extremes, we can lose timing, speed, flexibility, coordination skills, and the ability to perform at our higher level. You'll never see a bodybuilder, and they're strong, nothing wrong with it, they're strong, but you'll never see them performing for American Ninja. They just can't do it. They don't have that ability to be effective in it.
Right.
They're very strong. In fact, we've incorporated Cellercise with bodybuilding. At 30 seconds of Cellercise in between each station, and bodybuilders have grown up to 26% faster in their all results anyway. Because we get rid of the lactic acid through the pumping, we increase oxygen blood flow to the cells, they heal faster, and you're stronger when you get off or use a Cellerciser. So here's how it works. If I lift weight away from gravity, I limit the effect only to the muscle doing the lifting. And when I'm done, let's say I increase the weight to this muscle by 20 or 30 or 40%, and I did 100 curls a minute, and I did them for 10 solid minutes. Okay, great exercise for that one muscle. Now I got to do the other one and all the other body parts. Most of us don't have time for that. What Cellercise does, instead of lifting the weight away from gravity, it increases the weight of gravity. But the difference is it's not on just one muscle. It's on every single cell membrane in your entire body over 100 times a minute. And the cells don't care where the increase of weight comes from. The increase of weight is causing every muscle, bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, skin, collagen. How do you get a skin cell to do a push-up? You put it under weight. And that's what the entire body becomes more resistant to weight. Well, muscles are not used, they become flabby. Gravity pulls down and they get softer. When internal organs get weak, they drop. We get in our mid-30s, we haven't been bouncing up and down much anymore. We're not putting weight on the internal organs or connective tissues. Everything falls. Lady wrote me a beautiful testimonial. She said, David, as I was hitting midlife, I felt like everything was headed south. She said, now that I've been Cellercising, I feel like everything is headed north again. Well, there's reasons for that. The movement up and down causes those connective tissues to firm up. And so we do different movement. Now, Cellercise is all weight bearing. It's not like a typical rebounder or a mini trampoline. It uses a tridaptable spring, so it doesn't matter whether you're 30 pounds or 300 pounds. You're going to utilize that portion of the spring you need. So you create G forces of pumping action where you accelerate and decelerate. The body cannot tell the difference between the forces of acceleration, deceleration, and gravity. To the body, it's just weight. So when you're Cellercising, you have 3 forces working on the body, not just one. So as we're moving up and down, these cells are expanding and contracting with weight on them. They have to fortify themselves with more protein to compensate for the weight, but you're not tearing them down to build them up. So with Cellercise, you can do it once a day. You can do it several times a day. You can do it every day. I do it every day. I do my daily routine, and people say, how can you do it in 10 minutes? And I said, well, okay, if you took one part of your body and you applied the weight 100 times a minute for 10 solid minutes, entire body becomes with that. But when you're on a Cellerciser and you're moving up and down and putting, most people can't begin with 10 minutes. It's too much. It's too. Entire body becomes more resistant. If you've ever been on a trampoline, you know what that's like. So with Cellercise, what we do is we target the entire body collectively as a whole. So people are much stronger after they've been on a Cellercise for about 3, or not even 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Because as we're moving up and down, we're releasing the stress and tension in the body. We're weightless. We have a pumping action. We generate energy. That energy can flow through the body. As we release the blockages, communication processes are much more efficient. And as we're moving up and down, we're not favoring one side of the body over the other. So people that have golfers back, we've been able to help improve golfers in their swing, or any athletic sport, basically, because as we're moving up and down, if the muscles are tighter on one side, they're going to start to balance with the muscles on the other side. If the hips are out of alignment a little bit, which is very common, but we're moving up and down equally, the hips start to drop. Muscles start to move. The body starts to become more natural alignment. The strength and balance test that I do, and I've done it on thousands of people over the years, it's real. It's not muscle testing. It's strength and balance. A person significantly stronger after being on a Cellerciser because we've released the stress, the tension, the buildup, the blockages in the body, so that as the body is working collectively now as a whole. You talk about whole body exercise. This is whole body exercise. Today is the entire routine. It includes an isometric for toning. So it tones from the inside out, though. It's an isotonic for building muscle mass and bone density. It's a calisthenic for targeting. We can alter the angle of our body in different positions when we're on a Cellerciser, so we can leverage the weight to different body parts and areas. It's aerobic for conditioning. You've got every cell working. And it's a flexibility program without ever having to stretch. All in 10 minutes a day. I don't know of any other exercise that can claim that. We've been doing it 30 years. The proof is in our customer reviews. You can go and read the customer reviews. You're going to see the results that people have had that have been working with this for 20 to 30 years. I mean, this becomes a lifestyle change. You wake up in the morning, as I gently move up and down for 2 to 3 minutes, I'll feel any puffiness around the eyes disappear, because the movement activates the lymphatic system, which holds a negative pressure, which means there's suction. So as we move up and down, millions of one-way valves in the lymph system start sucking. Well, within a few minutes, it starts to pull that circulation between the bones, the joints, the tissue spaces of the body, the thyroid, the adrenals, the endocrine system. Everything is gently being massaged. And I'm wide awake. It doesn't take, I don't need any other stimulant. The Cellercise will also increase mitochondria levels within the cells. And there's many different approaches. So people have hip problems, knee problems, back problems, shoulder problems. We have different movements that address the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joints. Really important, especially with people that I work with who've done a lot of bodybuilding, or people that have been athletic sports. We took a gentleman, and many of you may have heard me talk about him, Robert Gent. Robert was a semi-professional athlete in the 70s. He had torn up his knees and his back. He couldn't compete when I saw him. He had won numerous awards, so it was on the left-hand side of his letterhead. Very proud of his accomplishments, rightly so. But when I met him, he wasn't able to do much. And I told him about restructuring and strengthening the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint. I said, the joints can't support themselves. The skeletal system can't support itself. If we have problems, it's generally because of injury or weaknesses to the supporting muscles and ligaments. So as we address the supporting muscles and ligaments, and they support the joint better, we get more fluid and more fluid retention in the joint. So I worked with him. 3.5 months later, he goes out for the Senior Games Pentathlon, wins first place in all of North America, considered the best on the continent. In his 60s, he leg presses 880 pounds, and he writes me a letter. And the letter, he says, David, it's absolutely miraculous, the positive influence that your trampling has had on my body. I've tried every strength, Pilates, stretching routine available. Nothing like your tramp has helped me get my muscle and joint health back. Lynn and I are both what you create. But, But yeah, so let me answer questions, and I can do some demonstrations in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right. Hey, Dave, real quick question, because you were talking about bone, and I was speaking with a family member that has bone on bone in a knee.
Yep.
Common, yeah, very common. I'm finding out more and more, and so she's an older woman. She was concerned about how it would affect her and if it could even help her.
Yeah. Several people come to mind. Mark Wilson's one of them. He was a professional football player for the New England Patriots and then the Oakland Raiders, won a couple Super Bowl rings. When I met him, he wasn't able to exercise because of the injuries in his football career. And he'd go out and run, and his leg would swell up, and it was bone on bone, and he wasn't able to enjoy his potential or his quality of life. He Cellercises. I showed him the same thing. He's running around now with a quality of life I don't think he ever expected to have again. Wow. Mark Bateman was another one. Johnny Seton was another one. There's so many people that are athletes that we've worked with that we can improve. Now, is it painful? It can be. Does it take time? Absolutely. There are specific approaches that we take that target not the joint as much as it does the muscles and ligaments.
Right.
But as we're building those muscles and ligaments, it's going to take a while for them to get strong enough to support that joint more effectively. I can't even count the number of people. I don't even know. But I've received so many phone calls and so many written testimonies of people that have had knee issues, and myself included, that are running around with a quality of life they didn't think they'd have again. And it's just by building.
Add me to their list.
But, we build up. See, we always want a quick fix, and sometimes there isn't a quick fix. The body can repair itself, but it can take some time.
Right.
I tore up my meniscus horizontally and laterally a few years ago, goofing around with my daughter, doing some yoga. Well, I thought it was yoga. It wasn't yoga. I was sitting back on my feet. She was on top, and I'm trying to sit straight up, and
right.
Pop. They popped, and it's too much weight. And my left knee started to get better, but my right knee, every time I would bend it, you would see it pop out of joint. And I'm like, oh, I need to get in the joint, right? So, and that's one of the worst cases I've heard of. And so I went to Dr. Christopher Chapman, who's one of my customers too. And I said, can you pop this back in place? And I bent it, and he said, well, don't do that. I said, well, what's wrong? He said, you need to get an MRI. So I went and I got the MRI. And the doctors looked at it, and they showed me where it was all torn up, and they said, you're going to need surgery. And in the course of looking at the x-rays, they said, oh boy, you've got lesions here and here. And I said, what do you mean lesions? Well, there's where you've torn it before. I said, well, that doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
And I said, but they healed? And he said, yes. Well, why wouldn't this heal? Oh, your age and the severity of this, no, you need the surgery.
Oh, my goodness.
Cells don't get old. Cells are always replacing themselves. So we can go through the symptoms of the aging process, we'll go through the aging process, but we can avoid a good deal of the symptoms of the aging.
Right.
So I wrapped my knee, and I did the exact same thing that I teach everybody else to do to build up the knee. And my knee's fine again. Absolutely fine. Doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I haven't tried this. I'm gonna do it.
Oh my goodness. There's something you haven't tried. I can't believe. I cannot believe that.
I haven't tried this in probably 2 years.
I know it again.
So I hope it's going to work, but we'll see.
Okay.
But
we're cheering
for
you.
This is so cool. I know it's so cool.
Is to stick my foot out here, sit all the way down to the ground,
Oh my
and
gosh.
balance, and then stand up again.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I'll do it. No problem at all. The knee feels good. The balance
Wow.
is a little off, but
That's
but you
okay.
know, I couldn't have done that. I,
Oh my God.
it took a little bit of
I'm
time to build up.
55 and I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah.
That's my
that's
goal.
amazing.
That's when I know I will have made it, you know. And
Well,
and people are definitely watching. This is one question I want to have. So this is all new, brand new to a lot of people. And you're sharing some, you know, what some might consider, you know, extreme circumstances. What can people expect when they first get their seller size? Or let's say they're in, just say, middle to, you know, they're not sick and they're not really trying to repair anything.
right.
And we're like, you know, I want to see some results. I want to move in a positive direction. Like, kind of typically, what would the expectation be for improvement, Dave?
We start off just like a baby does. Anywhere in the world, when a baby first stands up in the crib, instinctively, they're not born with balance. Balance, rhythm, timing, dexterity, hand-eye coordination has nothing to do with age. They're physiological functions. And we often think they're age-related. In reality, when a baby first stands up in the crib, they hold onto the bar. They start to bounce up and down in the crib. That's just down.
Yes.
When they get out of the crib, they graduate. They don't stop. Now they're jumping on the couch or the bed. Anywhere in the world, they want to do that. That bouncing up and down is instinctive. It's natural within all of us. But we generally kick them off.
Right.
I tell people we knew better. Not only would we encourage them to do it, doing it with them, but
Yes.
their balance, rhythm, timing, dexterity, hand-eye coordination, the ability to learn faster and retain longer, because it's stimulating up to 90% of the brain activity as we're doing these different movements and bouncing up and down. It's huge. But we kick them off and they begin to dance. And if you notice how young people dance anywhere in the world, they're bouncing off the walls, a little on the ground. They're doing all kinds of things now. Most of us get to a certain age and we stop bouncing up and down. We begin to live this horizontal existence. And we do it year after year with gravity always pulling down. So again, by the time we get our mid-30s, everything that used to sit up here now sits down there.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, start off like a baby. We will have to build up the body, gently move up and down. As we gently move up and down, these internal organs, the brain is moving, you know, it settles in the skull too. It's moving up now, it's being filled now with fluid and connective tissues are getting firmer. That's one of the reasons boxers do a lot of jump roping. So when they get hit in the head, they don't want the brain to crash against the skull, causing a knockout. So those strengthen those connective tissues. Well, that's what Cellercise does. And we've had numerous people who, once they started Cellercising, they could go on roller coasters again. They could start to do the things they used to do when they were young.
Wow, isn't that interesting? Okay.
Yeah, it is. And so that movement up and down is real important. But it's also, as we're moving up and down, so is all the fluid in our body. And we start to back flush the valves, which is really important for good circulation. And we activate the lymphatic system. But we can also start to break up heavy metals, toxins, poisons, formaldehydes, herbicides, chemicals, preservatives, all these things we've been exposed to over the years. And so I tell people to drink lots of water. It's really important, especially if you've had, I'll give you another example, a gentleman who was, he did drugs when he was in the 70s.
Okay.
And he's doing great now. But when he first started to Cellercise, I said, you're going to go through a detox, more than likely. Most people do. I said, drink lots of water, because you don't want to free those heavy metals, toxins, poison, and all these various foreign invaders and have them go into the joints or other tissue areas of the body. We want to flush them out. So drink lots of water to help the body flush them out. Well, I called him up a few weeks later and said, how you doing? Oh, I'm awful. I tell you, I've been in my bed. I feel so sick. You know, my kids can do it. Everybody else can sell. I can't sell, so I can't do it. And I said, okay, tell me what you're doing. He's telling me, great. And I said, you drink lots of water, right? And he said, no, I don't drink much water. Not drinking much water. So he's going through these episodes again, and I'm saying, you've got to drink the water to help flush it out. All you're doing is freeing it. Where's it going to go? So a couple weeks after that, I called him back. It is mandatory in his household that every one of his kids and his wife and himself gets on that Cellercise before they start every day.
Mm-hmm.
He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
He just.
Wow.
I had another lady get on the Cellerciser. I tell people start off 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
You first get it. In fact, we have it's cellercise.com/user guide. The
Okay.
user guide explains how to begin the first, second, third, and fourth week. And so
Okay.
that comes
Excellent.
with every Cellerciser. And you can do it every day, several times a day for short periods of time initially is what I recommend. But that moving up and down is going to, and drinking the water. I had a lady get on, she got on it. She was watching a television program with her family in the living room. She was having so much fun. She was on it the first time for about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She woke up the next morning with 104-degree temperature plus, and didn't know why. They took her to the hospital.
Wow.
What's wrong? If something happened, they did all these tests on her. Couldn't find a thing wrong with her. Gave her some antibiotics anyway. Sent her back home. She said, "I didn't take the antibiotics, but I went back to bed." And she said, "I woke up the next morning. I don't remember feeling so good. I feel like a million. I have so much energy."
Yeah.
I said, "You did a concentrated detox."
Yeah.
So I tell people start off gently,
Right.
and allow everything to work collectively together. There are several movements we do on it. The gentle twisting motion, where we're lifting the heels up and down, doing the gentle twist. It takes the colon and the intestines and puts our digestion elimination process under a little kind of like a washing machine effect.
Yeah.
Digestion elimination loosens the lower back, but also massages the liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, adrenals. They're all moving up and down side to side. I don't know of anything that does that. So there's, we start off easy, and there's specific movements that you can do that are beginning movements. We have movements that you can do for more advanced movement. We have movements to do for muscle building. We have movements to do for increasing flexibility. We have movements that address hip issues, knee issues, back issues, shoulder issues. We've got opening up the bronchial tubes in the lungs, how to open it. That's another technique I designed in this, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
It's, most people only use the first 2/3 of their lung. I teach a program that opens up the bronchial tubes in the lungs, so it'll improve your performance in virtually anything. But you have to start off easy, because most people, when they begin, the bronchial tubes and lungs may be a little wheezy. If they're not going out and doing a lot of long distance running or a lot of swimming and things like that, not really burning their lungs or working or challenging their lungs, they're going to be weaker. Well, this is an exercise I designed on the Cellerciser for the lungs. But would
that be helpful for people who have airway challenges, asthma, breathing, respiratory challenges?
Yeah, I'm going to show this one to you.
Okay.
Let's move this back here a little bit, and so you can see it. There we go. Okay, can you see me on this?
We can see you, yes.
Yeah.
All right. This is a breathing technique, and I want you to you hear my voice now, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to listen to my voice, because it can also change voice quality. If somebody is a radio announcer or if they're a singer, it opens up the larynx, and you can't argue it. It works. I've worked with professional singers the same way. But it's a pumping action, which is great for the chest cavity area. It pumps, it creates pressure changes, which really increase the lymphatic pumping and circulation throughout the breast and upper chest.
Okay.
And you're on the mat the whole time. We bend at the knee. Our hands are about this position. We stand up as if we're saying touchdown. Then we bend at the knee, coming back down, but we're breathing in and out as we do it. We don't do more than 6 or 8 of them when you first begin, because, like I said, it's an exercise, and the lungs may be a little sensitive the next day. You've exercised when most people don't do that. But after 2-3 weeks, they begin to sound different. They're not wheezy. They're open, and they're stronger. So we've worked with a lot of people with a lot of lung issues on this. But it goes just like this. Just. And when you're done, I don't know if you can hear my voice or the difference of my voice, but
wow.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. About 2 octaves lower.
It absolutely.
Wow.
You've got to experience it, and when you experience,
you were breathing out of your mouth the whole time.
Yeah.
Like where were you inhaling? How were you inhaling through your nose?
When I go up, when I move up, I inhale, and when I come down, I exhale. So
you're all mouth.
all through the mouth. It's not a
Okay.
meditation; it's a literal exercise. So it's up and down, and you'll feel it. And to make sure you think clean air. But it's common. I learned that from me when I first. There's a whole story behind it, and I don't want to go into all the details right now. But
next time.
but yeah,
Okay.
next time. But the lungs, they can be sensitive. That's normal. If you went out and did a long distance running, you hadn't run for a long time, your lungs could also be sensitive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's not unusual to loosen things up in the lungs too.
Okay.
So that as you're doing this, you start to clear things out, and after you stop, you're still clearing things out because you loosen the mucus and whatever other dust and things.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I've got a couple of things here I want to read to you, Dave. So I have Joy Matuition on the line, and she says, I feel like I'm 20 years old, not 71. Thank you so much, David Hall.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. And she asked also, we talked about this earlier, if you can tell us the benefits for a pregnant woman to Cellercise.
I say this with caution. Obviously, work with your doctor on anything, and any exercise. You should consult with your doctor or health practitioner. Cellercise does make it easier to get exercise and make it easier on the heart because it's pumping with the heart. Mm-hmm. Now, with pregnancy, we've had some great testimonials, and I can speak on behalf of my wife as well. The movement up and down, if you're exercising before the pregnancy, there's a good chance you can continue to exercise during and after the pregnancy, unless you have it.
Okay.
There's many approaches you can do. You don't want to do a lot of high jumping, but you can jog. Okay. You can do the jamba walk, the jamba run, gentle twisting. Because the movement up and down helps move embryonic fluid, oxygen and nutrients in circulation to the baby as well. But it also, we found out, since you're gently moving up and down all the time, and you're feeding circulation, and the cell tissue is gently being massaged and expanded and contracted, that when it comes time for delivery, it is not unusual to have a 10-minute delivery or a 20-minute delivery. Or
now you tell me. You tell me.
Or in my wife's case, we didn't really need to even go. We could have just stayed home and had the baby.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
It's responsive. It's all flexible. And when you're done after pregnancy, I teach a technique where you sit down on the Cellerciser and you can support your back a little bit and bounce up and down so that you don't have just the vertical movement up and down. You're actually sitting down, sitting back a little bit, and bouncing up and down on the Cellerciser. By sitting back and moving up and down, you help promote contractions, which help the body go back into position, and it works the whole lower pelvic area and region and lower abdominals so that they tighten and tone again. And so as we're moving up and down, we do different movements to accentuate that. For example, sitting on the ground. Let me do this again. We're just going to go back and forth because...
Okay. Hey, we're going to... Yeah, it's fine. No problem.
I want you to be able to see this. But real simple, graduated movements, sitting down, supporting our back when we begin, taking our hands away, working. It's all because of the stomach muscles that I'm working very gently.
Okay.
As we get stronger, we can lean back further, lift up one leg. We just leverage the weight in the lower abdominals where everybody wants to work. When the leg is tired, lift up the other leg.
Dave's just going off now.
And you don't have to work hard at it. Play on it. It works hard on you. When you get strong enough, you lift up both legs. Then you start bouncing up a little higher. It's all being done with the stomach muscles. As you continue to get stronger, then you go cheek for cheek. And now you're working the obliques, both sides of the stomach muscle, or in and out.
Wow.
Or up and down.
Hey, Dave, this looks great. I'm glad to see.
Now, Dave, I try to do those in the morning, and you just making it look too easy.
Dave, I thought you had a stuntman doing that for you. I'm glad I got to see that with my own eyes.
That's not even fair. That's not even fair. Oh my God.
What is so neat about it, honestly, and I tell people, why work out when you can play in? Number one, we make it convenient. You can do it at home. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to be exposed to all the various other things that are in there. You can do it in the comfort of your own home with the television on or the radio.
Absolutely.
Or the air conditioning or heater or whatever. But it's convenient. And you play on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You literally play on it. it works on you. And
I
so
got another. I have another question for you, Dave.
go.
And this is a very logical question. Someone says, her name is Sharon. She says, "Hey, I have disc problems. Can this help my back?"
There are movements that yeah. In fact, I've been 5'10" and a half my entire adult life. I was measured by 3 doctors and 1 attorney because I didn't believe it. I'm now 5'11" and a quarter. I'm 3/4 of an inch taller than I've ever been. And the doctor believe part of it is imbibition or imbibing the disc. Part of it's I had a little curvature in my back. But the imbibition, they call it imbibition, or imbibing the disc of synovial fluid is something that I teach. And the moving up and down on a Cellerciser moves fluid up and down. And then we do different movements that I teach on the Cellerciser. It comes with every DVD. It's got over 20 different techniques that I teach, and opening up the vertebral joints in the back. While we stretch, we lift our arm up, for example, lean to the left till we feel some stretch in the back. The moment we feel the stretch, we stop. We gently move up and down while we hold that position. And the movement up and down helps to feed fluid because everything is to the disc. And then we work the other side. And that's the first step of opening it up. There are several other movements that we do that are all designed to increase the flexibility of the back. But the discs in the back are like a sponge. If they don't get enough circulation, they start to shrink. And you know what a sponge is like without water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very hard and dry.
It's hard and dry. That's exactly right. As we lose the circulation to the disc, we have less space between the vertebral joints and more pressure on the nerves. And it's easier to irritate those nerves and end up, with the muscles tensing up and knotting up to try to protect the nerves. And we feel it's not a fun feeling.
Yeah.
So our objective is to increase circulation to the disc through this movement up and down and stretching. And while on the Cellerciser, so we're stretching and moving fluid. And as we increase circulation to the disc, what happens to a dry sponge when you put water on it?
It laps it up and it softens.
Right.
Suck it right up.
That's right. That's called imbibing the disc with synovial fluid. So those discs expand again. And everybody needs it. I mean, we're told up to 80% of Americans are going to suffer with lower back problems. I was one of them. I used to roll out of bed sideways.
So was I.
Couldn't sit straight up. Yeah. And this body didn't exist. After 7 years of Cellercising, I literally took myself out to dinner at a restaurant to celebrate. Because they say every 7 years you have a whole new body.
Yes. I like that. Yes.
So I literally did. And I'm like, wow, there's so much I could tell you that this has done for me in the lives of so many other people. And we all know people that have got stress issues, that have high blood pressure issues, that have digestion elimination issues. And I don't need to make claims. I tell people, try it. See what happens for you. Dr. Morton Walker, in his book, in the magazine, The Town's Letter for Doctors, he lists over 30 of the health benefits. He says how it lowers elevated cholesterol and triglyceride levels, how it strengthens the heart and all the collateral muscles around the heart, how it helps to lower high blood pressure, how it helps to it does so much. But you can look at that article and I believe it. I mean, it's
Dave, we were so impressed with his letter that we actually put that on our landing page. So if you go to landing page 32, you will see those benefits outlined in very specific manner, so that you can be encouraged to say, you know what, this is a journey for us. If it's happened for other people, there's nothing that says it can't happen for me. I just have to move in by faith, and I have to be consistent, and I have to embrace the process. Because as we know, when you do things naturally, it may take a little longer, but it's rooted. It's more grounded, and it's something you can trust to, step into your new future. And Dave, I definitely want to launch into our January platform, because I find that I think part of what we do is dispensing hope. And if we give people more hope about what they can do and what they can become and how they can have the energy to move from point A to point B to point C, but if they're carrying 20, 30, even 10 extra pounds, oh my gosh, it's like I can't even think about moving. So we are focusing specifically in the month of January on real weight loss. And I would love for you to share with us some moves or your concept of how the Cellerciser can help us in that, battle of the bulge, if you will.
I'm going to share stuff that nobody has talked about before. So this is, but what we know is true based upon research, and then the application of this it can only be done on a Cellerciser. There's 3 natural ways to lose weight. Diet is one. You got to be careful with that, because when we diet too much, then we can slow down our metabolism. When we go to eat again, we just get a lot on some of these television programs. Second, when we're losing weight quickly or too quickly, we want to also cause the skin to shrink with the weight loss.
Yes.
One of the advantages of Cellercise is that it's weight bearing on everything. So as we're losing weight, the skin can actually shrink at the same time.
Wow.
So diet is one. Second is we want to burn calories and we're faster than we're taking them in. So that's how I'm going to address the Jamba run, and then that's another technique I designed on this. And then the third is increasing metabolic processes. How do we increase metabolism? Now, when I first started teaching the Jamba run, it was I was traveling all around the country and I was doing trade shows, and I would ask people. I'd say, "Are you familiar with the Jamba run?" Of course they're not. They never heard of it. But it was a good lead-in. So,
yes, I like that. Yes.
So I said, well, let me show you. And I would show them the Jamba run. Well, I was demonstrating the Jamba run all day long for 10, 15 seconds. Well, every time I did it, my metabolism would soar and then slowly come down. Well, since I kept doing it all day long, on and off, it never had time to come back down. I could lose 8 to 10 pounds in a weekend. I ended up, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It is incredible. It's incredible. I continued to teach it for a period of time at these trade shows. I dropped down to 3% body fat. That's not healthy. I wasn't tired. I wasn't sleeping at night. I was eating 2 dinners to try to keep my weight up. I finally went to the doctor. I said, I think something's wrong. And so they did a full physical on me. And Dr. Armstrong, when he was done, he says, looked at the reading and said, David, you're in excellent condition. You got the metabolism of a 19-year-old. And I said, well, I didn't used to do that. And he said, oh, it's just your body type. I said, it didn't used to be. I stopped doing the Jamba run. And my wife can testify. She watched this too. It took a month to get my rear end back.
My God.
It burns. I mean, it burns. When you use the biggest muscles of the body have the greatest demand for fuel. They're located in the thighs and the buttocks.
Right.
So we harness those muscles in a way you can't do in any other methodology of exercise.
Wow.
I'm going to show it to you because we do repetitions of it. On Monday night, we're going to do a 20-minute session on our Facebook Live. I'm going to take people through a 20-minute
Oh my
session,
gosh.
and
I'll be there.
It's to celebrate, the weight loss, and you don't have to do the whole thing, of course, but I'll demonstrate how it works. But let me show you the Jamba walk, which is a precursor to the Jamba run. Now, when football players are going through training, they'll do something similar to the Jamba run, but they spread their feet apart. They get up on the balls of their feet. They lean forward a little bit, and they run on the ground really, really quick like that. The problem with that is that the moment you lean forward, you take all the weight off of the thighs, which are the biggest muscles. That's what doesn't work. So by leaning forward, they're no longer. In fact, if anybody is watching this, I welcome you to stand up. Go ahead and stand up. And I want you to take your hands. I want you to put them on the top of your thigh and squeeze the thigh. Now hold on to your thighs for a moment. You feel them. Now take while you're holding on to those. Good. While you're holding on to those, I want you to bend at the knee slightly. And as you bend down slightly, Feel the muscles. Feel how tight they are. Feel them okay. Now, as you're holding on to those muscles, lean forward and feel how soft they get.
I got you.
So we don't want to lean forward. We want to keep those muscles working.
Engaged, yeah.
Right. And you can, what I'm going to show you now, you can do on the Cellerciser, but you can't do it anywhere else. And that's where you keep your feet spread apart, you bend at the knee, keeping your back straight, your feet flat. We start off with the jumbo walk, which is done just by pushing down into the mat. We're not lifting the feet up high at all. We're just pushing down more. And you're going to start to feel it all through this area of the leg. Now, those muscles need fuel. So they're going to burn up the glucose and sugars in our bloodstream first. That's the most readily available energy source. So we want to do repetitions of this to lose weight. Because after we've burned up the most readily available fuel source, now the body
goes after the fat.
After the white adipose tissue. Yeah, the fat, the stored fuel. And that's what it starts to do. And so then after we've done the jumbo walk and we're strong enough, our knees feel good, and this is a great way to build up the front part of the knee. This is the way to build up the lateral side of the knee. But as we get to this point, we're ready to do the jumbo run. We run as fast as we can without lifting our feet up off the mat. We're pushing down into the mat. And you won't last, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, you won't last more than 20 seconds without feeling that burn. And it's just like this. So we have a balance bar you can hold on to, which I advise, because it helps you to sit back and your heels a little bit more.
He's like a robot.
And as you're doing that, you're going to feel those muscles burning. And it won't take that long. And, and then when you're done, which is what we're going to do Monday, then you can jog and get the circulation going. Knee oxygen again. When you're ready, you can go again. And my daughter did that when she was in junior high, and peer pressure was a little greater. And she was feeling a little fluffier. She got on she remembered what Daddy had taught. So she gets on the Cellercise, and every night she was doing about 20 minutes of repetitions of the jumbo and doing different movements in between while she watched a television show. She dropped 10 pounds in 1 month, and her metabolism changed. And that's where we've got to. The moment you stop doing the jumbo run as much, your metabolism is still going to be higher. It's going to take time to slow down. It's like taking a pendulum. If when we're in high school we could eat anything we want, we never gained weight, we just we're very active, and then we become less active. And so the pendulum slows down. We're not really gaining weight yet, but it slows down. We're not gaining weight, and then it hits the middle, and all of a sudden we look at something and we gain weight. And we start moving this way.
Yes. You smell something. What?
So as we start the jumbo run, we start increasing our metabolism, and it comes back over here. And it comes back we're losing the weight, and we're losing the weight. And even when we stop, we're still over here. It's going to take time to slow down. So it took my daughter a little while to, she looked great, but she did the same thing that I did. Just, you can
What about What about jogging on it? Does that help also in the area of?
Dave.
Jogging's great. It's not going to be as intense for burning calories as the jumbo run.
So the jumbo run is it?
But jogging is fantastic for the abdominals, because on a Cellerciser you can lift your knees higher. And so you can jog like this and pull in on the stomach.
Perfect.
As you pull in on the stomach again, I'm not like I was when I was in my 30s. But
oh my God, I wanted to see it. Yes.
You can still build. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's so much you can leverage the weight doing this. That's much more intense than just doing a sit up.
Awesome.
But it's you can. We don't have to buy into what the symptoms of the aging process that
Yeah.
That is, we can set a whole new standard.
Absolutely.
And we are. And we're starting, Cellercise is helping to set that new standard. Like I said, for a lot of reasons, I really believe everybody needs it. Balance, equilibrium, improves dramatically when we're constantly moving fluid past the stira, the smallest bone of our ear. And as we're challenging our proprioceptors as well, our balance improves. There's so many people, there's so many different types of conditions that the Cellercise, or now exercise in general, helps. But I don't know any exercise that is as efficient as Cellercise. And after 30 years of doing it 10 minutes a day, I'm still doing it. I'm going to be doing it, I pray, when the gentleman who, I think I shared his testimonial as well, who called me up just last week, Saturday, not even a week. And, or he wrote me and he said, thank you. I'd introduced him to Cellercise 30 years ago. 30 years ago when I was at the Whole Life Expo in San Francisco, California. And he said that it had changed his life. He's bought 3 Cellercisers over the years, and they don't wear out. I mean, my unit's 15 years old and it's in great shape. But he said that when he began 30 years ago, he was 10 years younger than I am now. He's 83. And I showed his picture. He's an 83-year-old.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
That's amazing.
It looks great. I mean, I'm like, okay, good. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. You know, it's so funny. Look, see, we have a friend, a business partner, just said his name is CJ. He said, Coach Kim, calm down, because I was shouting when you lifted your shirt up. But I'm going to tell you this. I have friends, I've got peers who say, you know what? Once I reached middle age, I just fell into that middle age slump. And I can't calm down because there are people like that who feel like they are compelled to wave the white flag. Like that's the only option. So when I see someone who says, you know what? Yeah, I'm opting out of that option. I'm making my own option. That's revolutionary. And that is a standing ovation. And see, what makes it so special is it's not just, hey, I've got a way to get out and I'm gone. It's, hey, I figured out a way. Let's us all go there together. Right. That's the beauty of where we are with this invention, with this concept, with this family. You know, Dave, I'm a military veteran. And one of the things we say is, hey, no man, no woman left behind. And that's what you have done. You have figured out a way and you've gone back in and said, hey, I know the way. Follow me. Come on. We can do this. It's safe. So you can step on here. This can hold your weight. No pun intended. I got one more question that I can answer, but I want you to answer, Dave, please. Kathy wants to know, she says, hey, for us older people getting started, is there a handle to ensure stability until we get stronger?
Yes, every unit, we have a half full Cellerciser with the balance bar and a tri-fold Cellerciser with the balance bar. Most people get one of those 2 units. The half full, the legs fold down. You don't have to screw them on in less time than it takes me to put on a tennis shoe. You pop the legs in place, open the unit up. The balance bar has push pins. You put that together and you slide it over the 2 legs, and then you have it to hold on to. I have it downstairs, so I didn't bring it up.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
But it's absolutely, and if you go to our website, you'll see the balance bar. Or you go to your website, you'll see. You should have
yes. Yeah. And someone did ask about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. And someone did ask about our website. So if you go to our back office, you go into the dashboard, go to tools, and then go on landing pages. The Sip and Bounce landing page is what represents the Cellercise. So it's called Sip and Bounce because we're talking about the hydration drops and the Cellercise. So you can actually flush the toxins from your body. It's just an incredible 1-2, combination. So it's landing page 32 in your back office. And, we're very excited for people to, start building their own testimonies. Dave, I love your testimonial page. It's so powerful. And, we just you've given us a lot of hope and proof Some people are, we're from all over the country and all over the world, but a lot of people I think are from Missouri, Coach Pate. They want to show me. They let show me that this is really true. And so you have certainly shown us, Dave, and we really, really appreciate it. I'm going to ask one last question, Coach Pate. Then I'll turn it over to you to, kind of close up. But hey, Dave, now I know we don't, just like Shop Free Mart, we don't, treat, cure, diagnose any diseases or physical challenges or things like that. I have a question specifically because I have a couple of friends who are, faced with the area of MS. Are there different things that they could do that could be beneficial, as far as a Cellerciser?
Yeah, something, we need to do more research on the Cellerciser with people that have MS. Whether it's lymphatics, what some doctors think it is, lymphatics that kind of clog the brain. And what has been interesting for me, we've had people who've written us who have gotten out of wheelchairs and are walking again from Cellercising, who they have written that they feel that symptoms of multiple sclerosis actually fading away. They have said that.
Wow.
I had a lady who came in from Oregon. She drove to our office in Utah. She had a friend driver. She walked into my office and she was holding on to these crutches that come up to your wrist, and she was kind of slowly walking into our office. And she had her friend, and I talked to her a little bit. I did the strength and balance test on her that I do. Okay. I could take one finger, I pushed down on her, and she had absolutely no strength, coordination, or balance. She couldn't do it. So I helped her get up on the Cellerciser, hold on to the balance bar. And initially, she had a hard time moving. I said, I just want you to gently try to move up and down. And I continued to talk to her. I asked her about her trip. I asked her about where she lived. I kept her mind focusing on other things while the rest of us in the office watched her go from tentative to more aggressive to where you wouldn't have known her from anybody else by the time she was done.
Wow.
When she stepped off of that Cellerciser, and I've got witnesses, she took I had her do the same strength and balance test, and I tried to push down on her. I couldn't. She had every bit as much strength as anybody else. She walked out of the office without her crutches. This isn't the only time this has happened.
Wow.
I have done this with a number of people with MS, and so I challenge the doctors and the medical establishment. I said, look more into this and why it's working. We need to know. We do know that it stimulates brain activity. We do know it opens up the lymphatic system. We do know it helps to increase circulatory and communication with the nervous system. Why is it making such a difference? We need to find out.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
And lastly, Coach Pate, I was hoping that you would ask. I got a second screen on you, Coach Pate. It's distracting, just so you'll know. But
I can't hear you.
Okay. Since he can't hear me, let me ask this last question, Dave. Can you talk a little bit more? Maybe this will be the closeout question. Can you talk a little bit more about the stroke and the oxygen and the brain activity? That would be awesome.
Yeah, always consult with your doctor when Cellercise. Cellercise has been known to open up circulatory channels and to stimulate brain activity. We have a gentleman who I had just finished a demonstration, and I was packing up, getting ready to leave from a gentleman who owns a very large network marketing company. And as I was on my way out, he had somebody coming to the door, one of his good friends. And he sees his good friend, he says, oh, you've got to hear about this guy. Now, I just packed everything up, and you got to hear what this guy's. And so I said, okay. So he had a stroke. He couldn't use his left arm. And I got him on the Cellerciser, and I said, I want you to focus on your fingertips. Just focus there as you're moving up and down, because the moving up and down stimulates circulation, and we can to all extremities of the body. And I said, I just want you to feel it as you're moving up and down. I want you to see if you can feel it tingling or throbbing in your fingertips. And if you can, I want you to start to move those fingers if you can. Well, he was on that for probably 10 minutes. The first time he was on at least 10 minutes. And when he was done, he got down and he went for a pen and he put it in his left hand. Now, he couldn't use it before. He lifted up his left hand with the pen and started to write his name. It wasn't perfect, but he started to write. He says, I have not been able to do that since the stroke.
Wow.
So we've worked with a lot of people, yes, that have had those challenges, and the pumping up and down, the coordination, the balance, it's all been very rehabilitative.
Okay. And someone just asked a question. If you could, Dave, just give us a plug a little bit. You know, when anyone, let me say this, when anyone orders a Cellerciser through your landing page with ShopFreeMart, you'll get the equipment, you'll get the performance bar or balance bar, and you'll also get a DVD that will help you get off to the races. But Dave, someone has just asked about the app. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have a new app, and it's very exciting. It has over 30 pre-made routines. It's got a beginning, intermediate, advanced, and a senior section. You can go into any one of the routines and you can change it. You can just go ahead and use it. It'll have the background, it'll have music on it. But you can also go in and say, hey, I'd rather be at the beach today. So you can pick a beach background or the mountains or a lake or an urban area or a park. And you've got 40 different backgrounds that you can pick from.
Right.
So you can change the background. You can change the avatar to a male or a female because you're actually exercising with an avatar, kind of like, what's that? Avatar.
Yeah, that's the word.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can do these different movements and or with different people. You can go to the music library. You can change up the music. You can speed the movement up. You can slow the movement down. You can create your own routine. So we have a library of different movements. And depending on what you want to accomplish, you can put those movements together and put the amount of time you want to do each movement.
That's awesome.
And then you'll pick it, you'll save it, you start it, you do the routine. It's got a little clock that times down before each movement. And then another clock up above, which shows the total amount of time for the entire routine. And so they click down. There's a little ding every time you do the next movement. And basically the objective here was, rather than create an exercise program that really isn't helpful to a lot of people, one size doesn't fit all feet. Everybody's in a different position, different place. How can I most effectively reach everyone at whatever level they're at? And so that's what we created the app for. Whether you want to do it 2 minutes or you want to do it for an hour or whatever, you can create and put together the routine you want and then save it in your own personal library. So now you've got the pre-made routines and you're adding your own routines based upon what your goals and objectives are. And so that's something we filed a patent on it. We got a patent. We've got other patents pending. We're excited about that. So that we can really break out. There's a whole story behind all that.
Next time.
And next time. But, yes. And we'll have our new Mr. Rebounder app or MrRebounder.com website up soon, which will even go into more explanation of it. But right now you can see it on our website if you go into it, and it'll give a little explanation of it.
Hey, excuse me, Coach Kim. I don't know if you're speaking right now, but Dave, I just want to kind of chime in on the question. As an ex-athlete, and you were talking about training athletes, the 30 seconds in between sets. Is there any other thing specifically you do or do in terms of working with athletes?
Yeah, there is, especially depending on what kind of athletic activity they're involved in. The lateral knee, both sides of the knee, is often where injuries occur. Having flexibility and strength in that area, especially more than your competitor, is going to be helpful and helpful. So these, I'm going to take it back here again. So depending on what activity we work, sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, there you are. Okay.
So depending on what we're working on, for example, the lateral knee, both sides of the knee, the jamba run is going to help you stay in this position for a longer period of time than most people can, which is going to give you a competitive advantage in moving. The lateral movement side to side works the hips. both sides of the knee, the lateral knee, and if you want to go skiing, you can do your ski movement. If you want to work on your vertical jump, you can, and it's good to have a bar or something you can hold on to, but you can just jump up high, come down low, jump up high, come down low, and that's going to help. There's a lot of things we can do, but one of the advantages for virtually any athletic activity, which you can't get through normal exercise processes, and this is a discovery on the Cellercise that I made several years ago, is that we're not just working muscles. We're working the next step, I believe, in our athletic performance potential. And that's we're working with the fascia. When a person goes out and they lift a car off of someone else, they're not doing it with their muscles. They would tear up their ligaments and their tendons or blow out a disc. The entire body collectively is involved in a potential that we didn't really understand. I think we're beginning to understand it now. And the Cellerciser, when somebody's so much stronger after they've been on the Cellerciser, it's because you're not just working the muscles. You're working all the protein fibers and connective tissues and fat throughout the entire body.
Yeah.
So I took a basketball team here in our small town. It's a small town. And I trained them on the Cellerciser, and they went on to win state. That same year, I took a wrestler, one of our neighbors, and trained him on the Cellerciser. He went on to win state. Is that coincidence?
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't done it since. I went to the BYU football team, and I worked with their coach, and we had their football players maxing out and doing, just incredible lifting of weight, and some of them had been injured, and they hadn't been able to do it. And so, yes, we can. In fact, I'm looking forward to working with some teams. I would really like to do that, to show them how we can incorporate Cellercise. And as a warm-up, what is a better warm-up for your muscle ligaments and tendons than causing every single cell, instead of just few muscle ligaments and tendons, to expand and contract and increase that flexibility automatically. So in circular, I tell you, we're sitting on something that everybody needs to see. And as I said in the very beginning, when they said, David, who's your target audience? I said, people.
Yes, anyone with cells. If you have cells,
as a matter of fact, dogs and cats are like this too. They'll get on it, and that's another story.
Hey, Dave, before we go, tell me just for verification, what is the name of the app? Is it the Mr. Rebound? If someone were to go into the Google Play or the iTunes store, what would they look up?
MR Rebounder.
Okay, Mr. Rebounder.
Rebounder, Mr. Rebounder.
Perfect. Okay, Dave.
We thought about Mrs. Rebounder, but I'd say
yeah, whatever. Next, the next app. Do you have time for one more question? Someone just typed one in. Would you mind one more question? Sure. One last question? Okay.
I'm yours.
So someone wants to know, Lillian wants to know what to do for a sciatic problem.
Oh, we've got some techniques that have, again, I can't give medical advice, but I can show you, I can explain what I've shared with other people that have made a big difference in the sciatic area. So I'm going to move this back over again. I'm glad you asked me the question.
Okay, great.
And this is...
So Dave, while you're doing that, I used to have that issue, and I used to, and I've only been rebounding for 4.5 months now, and issues with my knees and my back is no more.
There's a technique. Thank you, Coach Pate. Thank you so much. There's a technique that I designed.
Thank you.
My pleasure. They're graduated movements. We can start off by standing on the Cellerciser, just gently rocking side to side, so we start to loosen up this whole hip area. So the hips are dropping down into the mat.
Okay.
Why I like it better than walking. I mean, walking has its benefits, but there's a jarring effect in walking. Tension in the back. Ask anybody who goes to Disneyland. I mean, after walking around a little while, you got to sit down. Because concrete does that. But when you're on a Cellerciser and you're walking, your hips are dropping into the mat and it's starting to loosen up the lower lumbar. But that's what we want to do. We want to loosen up. And then we do the twist. As we gently do the twist, we're starting to loosen up this area even more. All the nerves that come around the back and around, wrap around the thigh, and this whole area. We start to loosen those up. And then this is the one that this is then, we keep our hips straight ahead. We lift the heels up and down, and we twist in the hip socket area.
Okay.
And that seems to be the one that has been making it work.
Wow.
That's what we get most people say, you know, it's gone. It's that.
Wow.
Not bothering me anymore. So those are
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So look, here's the bottom line. You know, just get the dang thing and start bouncing. Just get the thing, because really, Dave, I'm going to say this. You know, I'm going to be loose with it, but it's almost like there's no wrong way to bounce. You know, short of injury, and you know, I can't even say being crazy, because you can have fun, you can be crazy, you can be loose, you can be free. You can really enjoy this. You just get a chance to learn what works for you. I did a video this morning, Dave, about sleeping, you know, how, and I did it to like a Sade tune. It was nice and gentle. So like you can have fun depending on your personality, your mood, you know, whether you have a big presentation and you got nerves at the top of here and you want to bring them down. You know, however you want to Cellercise, it can be your thing, right? So
let me make a comment on that, because it's so important, and it's relating to stress. We all have to deal with it, especially just in the world today. But and a lot of people have a hard time falling asleep at night because of that stress. Have you ever noticed? And I learn a lot by observing. When a baby is fussy, anywhere in the world, a parent often will take that baby and gently bounce the baby up and down, and the baby relaxes.
Yes.
Okay, well, I've got good news and bad news. We're too big to be put over somebody's shoulder. But that's the bad news. The good news, we can get on a Cellerciser and we can gently move up and down.
Yeah.
And as we gently move up and down, I don't know if you can see this, not exactly, but I'll move it a little bit back. As we gently move up and down, we put our fingertips straight down. Gently move up and down until we can feel the tips of our finger, the throbbing at the tips of our finger. And the moment we do that, we're getting the circulation through all areas of the body. And then just relax your shoulders, back, and buttocks. And for a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes, just gently relax. This is a massage. It's just releasing all the stress into the body. And then go directly to bed. And see how much better you sleep. I've got stories I can tell you about that one too, but that's a great one. That's a great one for helping to release the stress and tension in our bodies, even during the day, but especially before you go to sleep at night, because you don't have to toss and turn to get rid of it. It's just
absolutely.
So.
Well, look, speaking of going to sleep, I think we have come to a good cross section, and you know, from the bottom of our hearts. I don't know, Coach Pay, can you hear me? He can't hear me. He's not responding. Okay. From the bottom of our hearts, we definitely want to thank you for taking the time out to just share with us from your heart. I mean, you just reek genuineness, right? And just love, and like really, really wanting to help people. And I think that's what the connection with Shop Free Mart is, because that's who we are at Shop Free Mart. Our motto is share the love. That's what we do. That's, you know, and we know that if we're not opening our mouths and reaching out and making the connection, touching people heart to heart, then we're not doing what we've been called to do. So it's no accident that we are in alignment with one another. And we just look forward to continuing to learn more and more about not just the, you know, capabilities of the Cellerciser, but the capabilities of who we can become using the Cellerciser. That's what's exciting to us, you know. So we're reinventing ourselves. This is our year 2020, great vision. And you know, I would love for you to just give us some closing words, Dave, as we move into, you know, new levels of performance.
You know, every now and then God raises up men and women of virtue who have the ability to see the world not just as it is, but as it can become. And he often creates within them a great desire or passion to share that vision with others. And in the process, they have a chance to influence the lives of individuals, families, communities, nations, and occasionally the world. Shop Free Mart, and everyone who's a part of it right now, you have that opportunity. You all know somebody that you can influence who needs what ShopFreeMart has to offer. Whether it's, none of us want to live in a dirty, polluted environment. Neither do the cells of our body. Making sure that they have the best water available, water that helps enhance the ability of the body and the cells to perform more effectively is critical. Cellercise, I think, is critical. The blood, the circulation, the energy flow. I mean, in 2 to 3 weeks, I ask people, call me and let me know how it's going, because generally they feel like a whole different person. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. And I used to feel guilty because I'd wake up at night, I had the stomach muscles, 20, 30 years ago when a couple years after I started, they really started to show up again. And I used to wake up at night thinking, I got to go get on Cellercise. I got to work it. I'm going to lose it. It's too easy. And I really did. And now
that's great.
I don't worry about it. It's a byproduct. Being able to stick my leg out, sit down to the ground, stand up. I didn't know I could do that. I had a yoga instructor challenge me. He said, well, can you do this? Can you do this? After I did everything they challenged me, I said, well, can you stick your leg out and sit down to the ground and stand up again? And she couldn't. And she ended up getting a Cellercise. And so we a lot with yoga people and martial artists, because balance is very important to them. And, the list goes on and on. But you all know somebody who's dealing with a health issue, whether it's weight loss or whether it's knee problems, whether it's back problems, whether it's stress or tension or whatever the case may be. ShopFreeMart has a program that's designed to help their body perform more efficiently. That's all. And when the body and when the cells are stronger and healthier and working more efficiently, what does that mean for the body and its parts?
Wow. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, look, I'm going to assume Coach Pate can still not hear me, but we are going to thank you for being here and wish everyone a well and blessed and peaceful night. Go get your Cellerciser. I'm telling you, I devoured the website. I read everything. I listened to everything, but it wasn't until I physically stepped on it, my own Cellerciser, that rocked my world. That just took it to an entire different level. So I'm encouraging everyone to get their own Cellerciser and just enjoy this whole new lifestyle. This isn't a fad. This is a lifestyle. So we're telling you, this is your time to become, your very best. We want you to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Thank you, Dave, for being here. We appreciate you, and we look forward to making history with you. Thank you so very much.
Coach Kim, Coach Pate, appreciate you. Thanks for everything you're doing.
Absolutely. Good night, everyone. Have a blessed and peaceful night.
Good. Thank you.
Let's see. I hope I got all of the questions, and we are going off broadcast. And this is always a little bit of a...
I sure love working with you and working with the people, and I look forward to hearing their results, because they're going to get them, and then it's going to spread. It's going to spread, and you're going to find so